Hello there. Welcome to class. My name is Okikela Samuel Ainde, but you can call me Ace with D. I am your tutor from the Royal Tutors, and today we're going to be looking at a beautiful concept in mathematics, which is Roman numerals. All right, so let's get right into it. What are the objectives for this lesson? By the end of the lesson, you should be able to identify and recall the basic Roman numeral symbols. You should be able to apply the rules of Roman numerals. You should write into Arabic numbers from 1 to 1000 in Roman numerals and solve simple problems and exercises involving Roman numeral. And by the way, make sure you wait to the end. I have a fun fact for you on the Roman numeral. So let's get into it. Okay, what are Roman numerals? What are Roman numerals? Roman numerals are a system of numerical notations based on ancient Roman system. That means these Roman numerals, they are ways, or this is a way that the ancient Romans have carved out, have niched out for themselves to be able to write our normal numbers. So that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be assuming that we're in the ancient Roman system. We're going to look at how they wrote their numbers back then and what how we can still use it now. So of course it is still used in many places till date. Some use it in time by time, they represent each of these numbers that we have in the Roman numeral. So let's keep moving. Let's get right into it. So, like I said, from our objective, we have some basic symbols that are basically used to represent numbers when it comes to the Roman numeral. One on that list, or the first on that list, is I. As you can see here, I represents 1. It means that anywhere we see I, under the Roman numeral system, they represent it as what? 1. So if I see two eyes, which means I. Of course, I know that the first one means 1, the second one also means 1. But does this mean 11? Well, we're going to find out as we proceed in today's lesson. But of course, keep it in mind that I represents what? 1. Don't forget, I represents 1. Then V, of course, V, because there are letters that is being used to represent the number system. So V now represents 5. I represents 1. V represents 5. X represents 10. X represents 10. L represents 50, just like it's written in front of it. I is 1, don't forget. V is 5. X is 10. L is 50. C, 100, absolutely 100. D is 500 and M is 1000. So I would want you to keep these symbols in mind because these are the symbols that we're going to be using as we progress in today's lesson. Have you got that? Let's go over it one more time. I represents 1, V represents 5, X represents 10, L represents 50, C represents 100, D represents 500, and M represents 1000. All right, so let's move on to the next slide. All right, for the next slide, we're going to be looking at some of the rules that guides the writing of Roman numerals. There are some rules that guide. We cannot just write it and then feel like, oh, no, it's just doesn't work that way. So let's go step by step into some of the rules that guides the writing of what Roman numerals. I'm ready now. The first rule is called repetition. So what does that rule state? It says that a symbol back then, we just talked about some of the symbols. We have I, we have V, we have X, we have L, we have C, we have M, and the likes. The first rule is saying that a symbol can be repeated only up to 3 times, which means that you cannot use a symbol more than 3 times. If you begin to use it more than 3 times, then you're committing a blunder. As a Roman numeral system, Roman numeral system does not allow you to use a number more than 3 times. It can only be 3 times and nothing more. Do we understand that? It can be less, yeah. Just 1, 2. But once it gets to 3, you have to stop because that is the rule. A symbol can be repeated only up to 3 times. It can't go beyond 3. Once it goes beyond 3, they were committing a blunder according to the what? The Roman numeral system. So let's go on. Let's go on. That's why we have I as 3. Ask the question the other time. That's what is I. Is it since this is 1 and this is 1? Am I going to bring them together as 11? Of course not. No. When we combine the Roman numeral symbols like that, we add them together. We don't just bring them together. We're going to add them together. So look at this I. This is 1 plus 1. Of course, plus 1. We know 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 gives us what? 3. Perfect. But I can't go over to say I have I. This is going to be wrong according to the Roman numeral system. I hope you got that. Don't forget, a symbol can be repeated only, emphasis on that word, only up to 3 times. It must not be more than 3. I hope you got the first rule. Yes, I'm very sure you got that. So let's go over it again for the last time. Don't forget that the rule number 1 states that for the repetition, the symbol can only be repeated up to 3 times. Perfect. Not allowed. Exactly. We can't have I. It can't be more than 3. Once it gets to 4, then it's totally wrong. Are you with me now? Very good. So let's continue on to the next slide. Right. For the next slide, or for the next rule on the next slide, yes, we have what we call subtraction. And what does that rule say about subtraction? Don't forget the first rule. You cannot use a numeral more than 3 times. It can only be used only up to 3 times. Now, subtraction now. If there is a smaller numeral before a larger numeral, what do? We subtract. We subtract, you subtract, I subtract. Anyone in the Roman numeral system does what? Subtract. Whenever we have a smaller numeral before a bigger numeral. Don't forget our symbols. We know that I represents 1, V represents 5, X represents 10. Yes. So now, take for instance, we have IV. We know that I is 1 and V is 5. And we have a smaller numeral 1 before a larger numeral 5. One, I told you that when we write Roman numeral, when we write in Roman numeral system, we don't just add them together. We actually we don't just bring them together, rather. We do some manipulations. But in this case, because I have a smaller numeral before a larger numeral, what exactly do? I subtract. So this is 1 and this is 5. Of course, when I want to subtract, I do the bigger one minus the smaller one. So this becomes 5 minus 1, and it means that IV is what? 4. I don't know if you got that correctly. Let's move on to the next one. Let's see. Let's do Excel. Remember, X is 10, and of course L, if you're following me, L is actually 15 from the first symbol that we looked at. So now I have 10 and I have 50. Remember this rule. If there's a smaller numeral before a larger numeral, what do? We subtract. And I told you when you want to subtract, you do a smaller numeral, or the bigger numeral, take away the smaller numeral. In this case, we're going to have 15 minus 10, which is going to give me what? 40. I think you should try out CD. Try out CD. What does C represent? 100. What does D represent? 500. Yep. So what would that give us? You're absolutely right. Yeah, thank you. 500 minus 100. That's going to be equal to what? 400. Yes. So you know the rule now. When you have a smaller numeral before a bigger numeral, what do? We subtract. Of course. That's very good. Very, very good. So let's move on to the next um, slide, please. For rule number 3, it's addition. That's just the reverse of subtraction, anyways. And that states that if there is a smaller numeral before a larger numeral, what do? We add. You add, I add, everyone in the Roman numeral system does what? Does add, actually. Good. So looking at this, V is 5 and I is 1. This is a bigger numeral before a smaller numeral. Of course, we can add them together. 5 plus 1 to give me 6, which is what I have here. X is 10, of course. V is 5. 10 plus 5 is what? 15. Same thing. L is 50. X is 10. Then I. That's 1 plus 1 plus 1, which is absolutely going to give me what? 63. So don't forget the rules. The first rule is a numeral can only be used up to 3 times. The second rule is when you have a smaller numeral before a larger numeral, we subtract. Finally, for this, the third rule is when you have a smaller numeral after a larger numeral or a larger numeral before a smaller numeral, whichever way, we're still talking about the same thing. What do? We actually add. Thank you. Good. So let's move on to the next slide. All right. The last rule, rule number 4, it states that when you want to write, we write from the biggest value to the smallest value, except in cases where you have a smaller numeral before a bigger numeral anyways. But when we're talking about biggest value to smallest value, you write from hundreds, tens, and units, just our normal way of writing. Thousands, hundreds, tens, and units, and all. So good. So looking at this one, we have CLX. We know that C represents 100, L represents 50, and X represents 10. So we write from smaller, the biggest rather, the biggest value to the smallest value. So I can't come up with XLC. This is going to be wrong actually. You have to start from the bigger value down to the smaller value. We know that of course 100 is bigger than 50 and 50 is of course bigger than 10. So that's how we write number in our Roman numeral system. So we have looked at 4 rules. Let's go over that very quickly. The first one is that when you have Roman numerals or the symbols of our Roman numerals, we don't write them more than 3 times. You can't use it more than 3 times. That's number one. Number two is that when you have a smaller numeral before a larger numeral, what do? We subtract. And you have a smaller numeral after a larger numeral, what do? We add. And of course, the last one is when we are writing, we write from the largest to the smallest, from the biggest value or the largest value to the smallest value. All right, so let's take a few examples on this. Of course, I represents 1, that's just 1 plus 1, which is going to be 2. Good. That's 1 plus 1 plus 1, of course, 3. IV, don't forget that rule. When I have a smaller numeral before a bigger numeral, we subtract. I is 1, V is 5. So 5 minus 1 gives us absolutely 4. Straight down up to 10. Okay, same thing applies to 9. 1 and 10. So we do 10, take away 1, which will of course give us 9, and X is 10. Moving on like that, XI, that's 10 plus 1, 11. XII, 10 plus 1 plus 1, that's 12. XIII, 10 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, that's 13. And moving on straight up to 20, which is XX, that's 10 plus 10, which will give us what? 20. Absolutely, absolutely good. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying the class. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're enjoying this. Yep, let's move on to the next slide. Thank you. So want to write, look at examples. How do we write in tens? Yeah. What does 10, how do we write numbers in 10, 20, in 30s, and all of that? Very good. We know that the first number 10 is represented by the symbol X. 10 is represented by the symbol X. Very good. 20 is represented by the symbol XX. 20 represented by XX. 30 is represented by XXX. Of course, 40 is represented by XL because 50 is L. 50 is L. And I told you that when you have smaller numeral before a bigger numeral, what do? We subtract. 50 take away 10. That's going to give us what? 40. So 60 is LX. L is 15, X is 10. So we add them together. We absolutely have 16. 70 is LXX. 80 is LXXX. 90 is XC because C is 100 and X is 10, C is 100. Don't forget the rule. When you have a smaller numeral before a bigger numeral, we subtract. That's 100 minus 10, which is what? 90. Absolutely correct. Thank you. Good. So let's look at how we write numbers in hundreds. Of course, C represents 100. CC, that's 200. CCC, 300. Oh, you want to say CC? No, no, no. That would not be correct. 400 is CD. CD is 400. 500 is D. 600 is DC, 700 is DCC, 800 is DCCC, 900 is CM, and 1000 is M, right? So how do we write a number? What are the rules that guides writing a number? Of course, the first rule is that you break them into place values. If you understand the concept of place value, kindly check our YouTube video. There's a video on place value, very, very detailed video on place value. Make sure you check it out if you're having any issue with place value. Yeah. So the first thing is you break it into place values, then you convert each of them from the Indo-Arabic to the Roman number system. Then when you're done, you join them. When you're done, you join them. So first example we have is, how do I write 248 as a number in the Roman numeral system? Just like we said, break it into place values. So this is of course 200 plus 40 plus 8. Let's confirm that using our column addition. 200 plus 40 plus 8. Let's add this all together. 0 plus 0 plus 8 is 8. 0 plus 4 is 4. Then 2 plus whatever is 2. So, of course, 248 is 200 plus 40 plus 8. I already know how to write our number system. I displayed that in the earlier slide on how to write 200 in terms of 100. We know that 200 is 100 plus 100, and another 100 is C, and another 100 is also C. So by the time we bring them together, that's how we got CC. Then 40 is XL. Then 8 is VIII. 200 is CC. 40 is XL. 8 is VIII. That's why 248 is actually CC XLVIII. Absolutely correct. Yeah, thank you. Good. I hope you understand that. I believe you should actually get that perfectly. All right. So let's move right on to the next slide, please. So how do we also convert back? Yeah, converting back. How do we write numbers in Roman numeral back to the Indo-Arabic number system? That's our basic number. Of course, we take it one after the other. We know that M represents 1000. M is 1000. We know that CM, C is 100, of course. M is 1000. So remember the rule that when we have a smaller numeral before a larger numeral, what do? We subtract. So CM is going to be 900. So what's XL? XL, don't forget, X is 10 and L is 50. Anytime we have a smaller numeral, this is 10 and this is 50. Smaller numeral before a bigger numeral, we subtract. Yeah, good. This is 40. Then IV, same thing. I is 1, B is 5, we subtract. That's absolutely going to be 4. So by the time we add all of this together, this is 4, 4, 9, and 1 using our column addition. That's how we got 1944. I hope you got that. Yeah, very good. If you didn't get that, you probably just have to take the video back a bit and then go over it again. I'm sure you're going to get it. All right. Okay. All right, I have a quick practice for you to do. Write the following in Roman numeral: 27, 64, 509, 999, and 764. Also, on the other hand, I want you to convert the following Roman numerals. Yes, I want you to convert them to our Indo Arabic number, actually. Yep. So I'm going to give you the next couple of seconds to try that out, or you just pause it. So by the time you're ready, you just click on the resume button and it takes you directly to the answer. Have you paused it? Waiting for you. Kindly do that. Yeah. Yes, I'm sure you must have gotten it. So check and confirm your answers with what I have on the screen. Make sure that these are 10 questions. If I've gotten 10, wow, that's very brilliant of you. 9, very good. If I've gotten less than 5, you just have to check and go over it again. Where did you get it wrong? You can check this video as many times as possible. Of course, it's on our YouTube channel. You always have access to it anytime, any day, any moment you want to get it. Just log on and search for Real Tutors. Look for Roman numerals. Of course, you're going to see our video there. Yes, I told you I have a fun fact for you on the Roman numeral system, and we're going to be looking at that I hope you stay to the end of the video. Oh, yeah, you're here. All right, so let's look at that very quickly. The fun fact for Roman numeral is that Roman numerals or the Roman numeral system, it has no symbol for zero. Yes, you can go and check that and verify what I've just said. Yeah, of course. The Roman numeral, they have no symbol for what? Zero. So there's no way to write zero under the Roman numeral system. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. It was nice engaging with you. I hope you enjoyed the session. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this YouTube channel so that when we post new videos, you get it directly and then you see it. Share with your friends, share with everyone. In case you need tutorial sessions, of course, we're here to help you. We're here to help you. Just reach out to us in the comment section. We would always be glad for one-on-one tutorials. We have amazing tutors that are going to help you. So see you in my next class. See you in my next video. Bye bye.